Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we're going to discuss about the chapter symbols and formulae. In this session, let us see about introduction part of this chapter about the symbols and formulae in the chemistry. We know as around 118 elements were discovered so far. Most of these elements have been found to occur in nature. Some of the elements are man-made. Yes, out of these 118 elements, most of them are found in the nature as natural elements, and some of these elements are man-made, means derived from already existing elements. They are also called synthetic elements. It is possible that scientists will continue to discover some more elements. Yes, there is possible to discover some more, isn't it? Till now, they have discovered 118 elements. Of course, scientists may discover some more elements in the future. The scientist who suggested a method of representing elements using English letter is Berzelius. Before him, some other scientists also they have tried to symbolize these elements to represent the elements in the chemical reactions, but were failed. But Berzelius have given the symbols for the elements successfully by putting certain rules. He proposed that the starting letter of its English name is taken as its symbol. Okay, the starting letter of the element's name is taken as its symbol. Of course, for certain elements, the symbol is derived from their Latin names, but for most of the elements, the symbol is derived from their name as from the first letter. If the first letter is already given as symbol for some other element, then along with the first letter, second prominent letter also taken into its symbol for an element. Did you understand? So generally, first letter of the element's name is taken in as its symbol. If this first letter is already given as symbol for some other element, along with the first letter for this element, along with the first letter, second prominent letter also is taken into its symbol. Now it will be having two letters in symbol. If an element is having symbol with one letter, it is written in uppercase always. If an element has symbol with two letters, then first letter will be written in the uppercase and the second letter will be written lowercase. So in this way, by putting certain rules for writing the symbol of an element, he succeeded in giving symbols. Even if we discover any new element also, for that also, we can assign a symbol by these rules. Okay, that was Berzelius. Chemical symbols and formulae are introduced to represent the elements and compounds respectively. Yes, to represent the elements, symbols are proposed, and to represent the compounds, formulae are introduced. The chemical changes or chemical reactions can be conveniently written using chemical symbols and formulae of the elements and compounds. We can easily conveniently we can represent or we can write a chemical reaction which is representing chemical change by using chemical symbols and formulae. The method of naming the substance is called chemical nomenclature. Naming a chemical substance is known as nomenclature. That method is called nomenclature. The presentation of a substance with the help of symbol is called chemical notation. So the representation of a chemical substance by giving a symbol is known as chemical notation. So for our 118 elements, chemical notations are given. Means they are represented with a symbol. The language of chemistry, which is known as a new language. Yes, chemistry has its own language. Chemistry is like a new language. How means, suppose when you learn any new language, how do we start that? First, we start by learning alphabets of that language, isn't it? Suppose you are starting learning English. How do you start learning that English? First, we start learning with those 26 alphabets. Then we write words by using these alphabets, isn't it? We compose two, three letters and we start writing words by using those alphabets. Then finally, words form sentences. Two, three words we club together and we write sentences. In this way, we start learning a new language with alphabets and then words and finally sentences by using words. In the similar way, just like that, in the chemistry also, in the similar way, elements combine to form molecules. First, we'll learn about elements and their symbols. And then these elements will combine to form molecules of compounds. So then after learning about the elements, we start learning about molecules by clubbing these elements. And these molecules will combine in with other molecules to undergo chemical reactions. So how words form together a sentence. In the same way, these molecules will combine with other molecules to undergo a chemical reaction, just like the sentence in the language. So in this way, we can say chemistry is also a new language. While learning chemistry also, we start learning with elements, then about molecules. And after learning about molecules, we learn about chemical reactions. So J.J. Berzelius suggested a method of representing elements using English capital letters, that is called symbol. The shorthand representation of an element's name is called its symbol. Instead of writing the complete name of an element in the chemical reactions while writing, just by representing a symbol, we can represent an element. That shorthand representation of element's name is called symbol of that element. Generally, each element has a unique symbol assigned to it. No two elements are having same symbol. All the elements are having their unique symbol. The symbol of an element is not used for any other element. Okay, each and every element has its own symbol. No two elements are having same symbol. We have seen that there are 118 elements known so far. Each of these elements have a symbol of its own. Okay, no two elements are having same symbol. As we told, rules in writing the symbol of an element. If two or more elements are having the same starting letter, then to avoid the confusion, Berzelius suggested that along with the first letter, second prominent letter also taken into its symbol. So finally, all the elements are there having their unique symbol. No two elements are having same symbol. Okay, and for certain elements, their symbols are derived from their Latin names. For example, if we see sodium, actually, while pronouncing sodium, we are getting starting letter S. But actually, sodium symbol is derived from its Latin name called natrium. So from that, N is taken into its symbol. Along with the N, second prominent letter A is also taken into symbol of sodium. Now the symbol of sodium is Na. Okay, in that way, symbols are assigned for the elements which are giving uniqueness to the elements. For example, the symbol or short form representation of the element hydrogen is H, capital H. In chemical changes, when you write the H, it means the element hydrogen. While representing the chemical reactions by using chemical equations, if you write in that just H, that represents element hydrogen. So instead of writing Hydrogen, just we can write simply H. This H represents this only. So this is called shorthand representation of this element hydrogen. The shorthand representation of an element's name is called its symbol. So H is a symbol of hydrogen. Okay. Now let us see what is the significance of this symbol. It has two kinds of significance. One is qualitative meaning. A symbol represents a specific element. A symbol also represents one atom of that element. For example, if we say O, it stands for oxygen. If I say N, it stands for nitrogen. If we say H, it stands for hydrogen. In this way, a symbol represents one atom of that element. It also represents particular specific element. by giving the symbol, we can say which element is represented there. That is called qualitative representation or qualitative significance. Other significance is a quantitative meaning. Quantity. A symbol represents the mass of an element, which is equal to its atomic mass of that element. Okay. For example, if we say one atom of an element, for example, one atom of carbon. Okay, if I write just C, this represents one atom of carbon. So, the symbol represents one atom of an element. The symbol also represents the number of parts by atomic weight of an element. So 12 parts by weight of carbon. If I say C, it is 12 parts by weight of carbon. So symbol also represents the number of parts by atomic weight of an element. Okay. And even 1 gram atom of that element, a symbol also represents, also gives meaning that 1 gram atom of an element. If we write just the symbol C, it represents 1 gram atom of carbon, that represents 12 grams of carbon. Okay, this is a quantitative meaning from the symbol. So in this way, symbol is having two significances. One, it is qualitative meaning and even quantitative meaning. Okay. Now let us see what are elements actually. Substance which cannot be broken further into any other substances by any physical or chemical means is called element. Simply to say, the substance which is made up of only one kind of atoms is called element, or the substance which cannot be broken further into any other substances. Even though you break, the substance will be same kind. That kind of substance is called element. The substance which cannot be broken further into any other substances by any physical or chemical means is called an element. Simply to understand, the substance which is made up of only one kind of atoms is called an element. For example, if we say hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, carbon, these all are different elements. How many elements are like this? There are 118 elements discovered so far. These all will come under elements. If I say carbon, that contains purely all carbon atoms only. If I say phosphorus, that will be having only phosphorus atoms in it. In that way, elements representing same kind of atoms. The substance with the same kind of atoms is an element. What are the characteristics of an element? Let us see one by one. First, if you say nature, an element is a pure and homogeneous substance. Yes, the nature of the element is pure and homogeneous. That means if you see any element, it will be made up of only one kind of atoms. So then it will be pure enough. And even it is homogeneous too. Melting and boiling points of elements. Each and every element in its pure state, it will be having characteristic melting and boiling points. So if you take any pure element, it will be having a fixed melting and boiling point for it. When it is mixed with other elements, it may change its boiling and melting points. But if you take any element in the pure state, it will be having characteristic melting and boiling points. Separation of substance. An element cannot be broken into simpler other substances by any physical or chemical means. So if you take an element like carbon, if you break into small pieces, it is still called carbon. If you break into some other further smaller pieces, even then also it is called carbon only, because then also it will be made up of only carbon atoms. It cannot be changed into any other substance by breaking into simpler pieces. That is called element. And if you see nature of atoms, an element is made up of same kind of atoms. Different elements are made up of different kinds of atoms. If we say carbon, carbon is made up of all carbon atoms only. If we say oxygen, it is made up of purely all oxygen atoms only. If we compare carbon and oxygen, they have different atoms. Okay. Every element has same kind of atoms in it. Then chemical reaction. An element may chemically react with other elements to form compounds. Yes, elements they will react chemically with other elements to form molecules and compounds. For example, if we see hydrogen element combines with another element oxygen to form water. So here hydrogen is an element, oxygen is another element. If these two combine, then they form a new substance called compound, that is water. So that can be equationally can be represented like this. Hydrogen combines with oxygen to form water. This is called chemical reaction. Okay. If we see one more example, hydrogen combines with chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. So hydrogen here is an element, chlorine is another element. When these two elements combine together, they form hydrogen chloride. So this can be equationally, chemically it can be represented with the equation like this. Hydrogen combines with chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. This is about chemical reaction. So elements they will participate in the chemical reactions to form compounds. Elements sometimes they combine themselves to form molecules, and the elements sometimes they combine with other elements to form compounds. So these are the characteristics of elements. So each and every element is having its own symbol. No two elements are having same symbol. So we know the scientist who proposed these symbols which we are following now. Who was that? Berzelius. Before Berzelius, some other scientists also they have tried to give symbols for the elements. Okay, but they were failed. They were able to remember those when the elements number is very low. But as the number of elements discovered being increased, that became difficult to remember those symbols. That's why J.J. Berzelius has given a simple method for representing the elements with their symbols, and he put some rules in giving the symbols for the elements. Let us recall one of those points. The first rule is the first two letter from the name of that element is taken as a symbol for that element. Okay, that is written in the uppercase always. If the first letter of an element is already given as symbol for some other element, then for that element along with the first letter, second prominent letter also is taken into its symbol. For example, if we see calcium, let us see first carbon. What is the first letter of the carbon element name? C. So C is a symbol for carbon. That's all. Now if you see calcium, for calcium also first letter is a C only. So, but C is already given as symbol for some other element carbon. That's why for calcium, along with the first letter C, second prominent letter A also taken into its symbol. Now the symbol of calcium became Ca. Okay, now if there are two letters in the name of an symbol of an element, first two letters should be written in capital letter and the second letter should be written small letter. So by using these rules, we can assign symbol for any element which is discovered newly also. Okay, and even each symbol having two representations, one is quantitative representation and qualitative representation. Two meanings are there for that. Okay. These elements cannot be broken further into simpler substances either by physical means or by chemical means. Okay, that is about a symbol. So these elements will combine chemically with other elements to form compounds. So these chemical reactions can be represented with chemical equations. Okay, thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel Aims Today and visit our website aimstoday.in for latest updates on recorded videos. Even you can watch our previous classes which you have missed from our website aimstoday.in. Okay, so we can see all the latest updates. If you subscribe once our Aims Today YouTube channel, if you subscribe, you will get all the latest updates directly to your mobile. or even you can watch our recorded videos also.